What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You are on the correct channel. I know you saw just a little while ago me picking up a chatterbait, and that is this guy right here. So I know that you've seen me throw, I don't know how many Senkos and how many craws and maybe a swim bait or two, but really this is stepping way out of my comfort zone. Now, I used to use this before. I used to use it a lot. And you know, I used to use it for murky water. I would use this in you know, just any kind of condition where I knew I needed help. So I'm gonna go over today the chatterbait and you know, how to use it, what I use, because we are gonna need all the help we can get today. I'm at a special place today that surprisingly I've never put on the channel, and everybody knows this lake. At least one way or another, everybody knows this body of water. There's a park police right behind me. So what we're gonna do is I'm not gonna reveal it just yet. You probably saw the title though, but we're gonna step out. We're gonna go take a look at the water. Today's conditions, it is kind of windy. There's a lot of cloud cover, but it's supposed to clear up today. I don't think it's gonna rain. It's not gonna rain. It's unseasonably hot right now. So we're just starting to get into the summer months, and we're not even in summer yet. So we're just finishing off spring. I don't think I'm gonna see any of the bass on beds or anything. I won't even be able to see them because the water is just trash. But so as you saw, you know, I was at Academy and I had to pick up some trailers. I decided to go with the Rage Swimmers, not with the other H2O. I think was the ones that I picked up. But yeah, this is what we're gonna be talking about today. This is what we're gonna be using, and I'm gonna tell you why. So let's get after it. You know, I don't have too much time. I've got a couple of hours before the sun starts setting, but looks like it wants to clear up. So there was cloud cover before, but the winds come out, so it's starting to dissipate. So stick with me, and let's get after it. All right, guys, as you've probably seen by the by the title to this video, we are at Woodlawn Lake, and I don't know, 120, maybe I think I'm at 130 videos by now. Have never put this place on the channel, and a lot of you probably know why. This is probably the most pressured bite in San Antonio, and probably the ugliest water too. But we're not gonna let that deter us. We're possibly gonna be pulling out at least 3 or 4. That's what I predict, at least 3 or 4. As you can see, it's pretty clear skies actually. Over here, the clouds are starting to dissipate. It's a beautiful day, as you can see, not a cloud in the sky over here. So as the sun goes down, we're gonna see some of the clouds disappear, and hopefully it's gonna turn on the bite. You know, I just hope it's not gonna be too windy. But let me show you. Look, we got some people out here fishing on the dock. But let me just show you right here what we're dealing with. The amount of trash and sludge in this water is disgusting. All right, guys, got the chatterbait tied on. So this is the trailer that I'm going to use. It's the Rage Tail. I like this one because it's, as you can see in the sun, it's got sparkles. It's got a white bottom, but white and yellow. Why white and yellow? White and yellow, they can see through all this murkiness. Maybe not clear, but it's better than anything that's going to match this. You don't want to throw, you know, green pumpkin or reds or anything like that. It's going to match the same hue as this dirty water. So chatterbait, also because the hook is up, not down. You don't want to throw a swim bait in here because, as you can see, like over there in the distance, all this trash line up everywhere. You can see all the trash floating here. You can see the shopping cart over there. I mean, you're going to pull up pants, you're going to pull up, I mean, shirts, I mean, a whole wardrobe if you stay out here long enough. So the way I actually, there's a flat side to this little swim bait, this little trailer. And so what I'll do is I'll just poke in there, and then just like you're gonna do a Texas rig, but this time you're gonna want to go down the middle as much as you can. I'm sorry if you can't see that. Not as much as you can, but usually, you know, about, I don't know, about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, because you want to cover this long bar right here. And then you want to peek it out like that, and then you see there's a little lip right here. You want to go over that, right? Now you don't want to hump right here. You want to be able to have into where it's straight. It's straight, so you can push on it as much as you can, You know, make sure, I like to push my finger on it on the top, not to poke a hole through it, but just so I can feel that, just so that little barb right there will dig into the trailer, and that way it'll keep it nice and snug. You know, it's not going to go anywhere if they try to bite on it and what have you. I believe Z-Man is the one that actually coined the phrase chatterbait, and all it is just, it's a bladed jig. So, you know, just like your regular jigs that you have a blade at the top of it, and you can see how it's connected here, and then you have, you know, this little metal piece. You see how it's pulling it a little bit higher than the actual jig itself. So what that causes, it causes the blade to go back and forth, and that's what's going to make that vibrating noise, and that's what's going to draw the bite out. So what we want to do, this is heavy, by the way. This is not you know, weightless. This is a weight right here, so it's going to sink down like this, and when you pull it up, it'll shimmy its way up, right? So let's go ahead and toss it out there, and I can show you how I fish this. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and you can cast this pretty far because it's got some weight to it. So I'm gonna start pitching right there in front of those laydowns, those trees that are in the water, and I'll give it a little jerk or two, but you do not want to let it sink all the way down here at Woodlawn, because you will get snagged. And what I'm doing is I'm basically allowing my rod to be perpendicular, and one of the reasons being is so that way I can get that movement. That movement's what I'm looking for. This is a very labor-intensive bait because you're going to be toss and retrieve, toss and retrieve, toss and retrieve. So look, I have my line, you know, is going to be at an angle perpendicular to my rod. That way I want to see my rod tip, you know, moving. I want to see my rod tip going like that. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you the most sensitivity. I'm going to feel the movement of the chatterbait, and the reason being is because when they hit it, you want to make sure that you feel that bite. Sometimes the bite is real slow. It's not necessarily, especially in a pressured place like this. Also, you know, if you want your rod tip high, you're going to be in that top part of the water column. You don't want your rod tip too low, because then you're just going to pick up a bunch of trash on the bottom. So it's also a good searching bait, you know. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm casting out in a fan, basically, so that way I can cover as much water as possible. But it's an effective bite. It does work. I think I got one. Is that a bass? That's a nice bass. Go on the chatterbait. Look at that. That's an old bass too. Right here, Woodlawn Lake. Probably about 2 pounds. Bit pretty hard. All right, thank you, buddy. Yeah. It's not bad.
I haven't seen anybody catch a fish in here in 20 years.
Oh yeah? Yeah. It's probably about 2 pounds.
Yeah, I saw that, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. There's bigger ones in here. They just, you know, they see a lot of pressure. They see a lot of pressure. They see a lot of people fish, so it, you know, they're real finicky. They don't bite as much.
Yeah, with the traffic.
Yeah, and the trash.
The ducks.
And then the water's dirty too, so.
Hey, that's amazing, man, that you caught that fish.
I appreciate it.
And at this time, man, that little bass.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
They're in there. Oh, another one. Oh, that's a nice one. That is a fatty. I don't know if I can bring him up. Woohoo! Might have to reel him up. Alright, here we go. That is a nice one right there. On the chatterbait. Barely hooked too. Man, I'm surprised I didn't lose him. There you go. Another Woodlawn Lake bass. Not bad, not bad. Yep. Chatterbait's where it's at. Yep, yeah, he's got something growing on his tail right there. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. I'm gonna drop him in right here. Right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's see if we can get us another one. Look what I found. A little square bill. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get here at Woodlawn Lake. Look at snags. See, that's why you don't throw treble hooks. Snag some of these t-shirt or underwear. I don't know what that is. There you go. A little bit of rattle. Square bill. I would never throw this in here. Number one, it's too shallow for that square bill. Doesn't look like a deep dive, but still, that's a nice one too. I don't know who makes it. There's no markings on it. It's probably just a cheap H2O brand. Here we go. That is not a bad one. Yeah, see, right in the roof of the mouth. Come on, buddy. That is not. Look, he's got like a little spot on his head. Nice. Healthy little bass too. See, the wind was blowing up earlier. Not a lot, but it was blowing up pretty good, and you know, it's pushing. You could see all these little minnows jumping, and so you know, it's pushing the bait up to the thing. So all I was doing was just casting out, retrieving, casting out, retrieving. You know, not a real fast retrieve. But then I started, you know, slowing it down, speeding it up, slowing it down, speeding it up, and I think that's really what got him to entice him to bite. But yeah, not a bad bass, not a bad one. All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. But sometimes, look, see how he split the trailer like that? Yeah, sometimes you want to change those out because it's not going to provide you with the same amount of, you know, it'll fly down and it'll keep giving you problems. It'll affect the way the swim bait moves because this also has a paddle, right? So you just want to make sure that the trailer is on there correctly. So again, I like this one, you know, to each his own, but I like this one because this one actually is sparkly, not just white and clear. It's actually got a lot of sparkle to it, and I need all the help I can get when fishing these waters because, you know, as I said before, this type of water is stained like really, really bad. Plus it's heavily pressured, so you know, they're constantly getting thrown stuff at them. Not to say that they don't see this too often, but this represents a threat because they're either still spawning or just about to finish spawning. You know, this is considered late spring. We're not in summer yet, so still, it's actually about to be May, but see, I put that one a little high. But again, what I like to do is I'll push it back a little bit. What I like to do is I like to put my finger down right here on the top and feel that bump and dig it in there. You know, you don't want it to go all the way through, but you want to dig it in there so it'll feel secure on that jig. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here at Woodlawn Lake. I actually got broken off, so I'm gonna head back to the truck. can call it. You know, I've been here for a couple hours. I caught 3, not bad. I caught another one, but I lost him, and I don't think I caught it on video. I lost him at the bank, so it wasn't a big one. It was just a dig. The chartreuse and white chatterbait was successful today. So it's a really hard bite, especially for this place. You know, you wouldn't think so with all these people fishing here, but I think they're fishing for carp or catfish. Anyway, there is bass in here, so we did prove the point that there are bass, and there are some decent sized bass in here. They're not too bad. But yeah, I had a load of fun out here. It brings back a lot of memories. You know, I don't throw the chatterbait nearly as often, but yeah, no, all in all, I had a great time out here. You know, luckily, it's not too bad. It's actually in the mid to low 80s. It was hot earlier, but you know, since the sun's going down, it feels really, really nice. So I'm gonna enjoy it while I can, because I know the summer months, you know, May, June, July, August, I mean, they're coming up fast, and man, it's gonna be a scorcher this year, I guarantee it. But yeah, no, I've got a lot more videos in the works. I've got a lot more videos that are still on my computer that I need to get out. So still fishing every week. If you want to enjoy yourself, come out to Woodlawn Lake. It's got a nice park, a nice playground, as you can see here. It's a nice place. You know, I just wish the bass population wasn't so sparse, but I think they're gonna change that. I think Texas Parks and Wildlife are gonna be adding some fish soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I really appreciate the views. Thank you so much for